Come on! This is my BMW M135i that I have been attempting to rebuild from crash damage and turning into a nice looking show car. The deal with this one is anything that's broken must be upgraded. In the previous episode we managed to fix everything wrong mechanically with the car, so in this episode we are gonna finish it off with some nice performance upgrades and some visual ones, so stay tuned, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and let's get going. Welcome back to Almost M-Car project. We've got some exciting modifications going on this. I'm not showing you the color yet. We need to prep the car and then we'll show you what's in the box. Also, we've got some more performance parts in this box. We do have more modification parts coming and we'll show you them a little bit later in the video. Hopefully, by the end of the video, we will have this somewhat complete. I'm excited for the transformation. And the color I've chosen to go for is Neon Orange by Vinyl Frog. There is a discount code in the description if you want to go check it out. While the car is still getting wrapped, we are one step ahead already, and you remember how in the previous episode discovered a little bit of damage on one of the wheels because they were fitted wrongly. And also, so what it's done, it's been scraping the wheel onto the shocker there. It is kind of damaged now, so that gives us an excuse to buy some upgraded suspension and upgraded wheels. That kind of is a good point. I might have done a purchase which was in the wrong color, and then now it has been dropped off to Hyper Coatings for a color change, and that's where I'm heading now. The original wheels on the car were gloss black, which won't go with our new look, and the ones that I bought were gunmetal grey, which also won't work, so we went for nice silver ones. Thanks to Hyper Coating, let's go. That's the rear bumper all done. Now that it's done, I'm looking at the rear diffuser and I'm kind of getting some ideas in my head that I think I want to do this a little bit different to what we usually do. So I'm debating either we should wrap the rear diffuser in the color of the car as well, because everyone's got gloss black diffusers, but we want to be different. So I'm debating on that. Let us know in the comments, what do you think? Should we get this color matched to the rear of the car so the rear bumper looks a bit chunkier? When we come to the back of the car, as you can see, the boot lid is not done, and we are not gonna get it done because we have some upgrade parts to come for there, or we might get it done and then replace them at a later date. I don't know yet. This damaged bonnet is in the country. We are just waiting for delivery on that, so that's getting replaced. So basically the car, as far as wrapping goes, is fully complete now. And what do you think of the orange roof? I'm still in two minds what I think about it. Let us know in the comments. What do you think? If it was your car, would you have done it gloss black or would you have done it orange? But nevertheless, when we come back of the car, of course we are not gonna put these standard headlights back on. We've got some upgrade parts and they are in this box. Let's get them out and I can introduce our new taillights. Yes, they are still red, they still look like a factory color, but the whole point behind this car, we called it almost an M car, so all the things going on it are almost like an M car. So we've got the M2 front bumper, and we've got CSL rear taillights, and we've got M4 front headlights. So everything on the car, even the color, I come up with this, so it's like almost an M car color. Let's put this in and have a look what they look like. When plugging the back lights in, I think we might have run in a bit of a problem. The car comes with one plug, but the lights come with two plugs. The second plug most likely is for the dynamic or the sequential indicators in the boot. But we'll just pop these in for now. I just want to see what they look like. Oh, should we put the boot lid ones in as well? Just plug them in for now. Yeah, so it looks like there's a wire that needs to be plugged in. I think we will need to run a wire from the boot lid all the way down to the rear lights, but we can try to turn them on and see what they look like without it. Ah, it's only the other light. Let's have a look in the box, see if we can find any loose wires in there, and it doesn't look like there's anything there, so these might be slightly different to the ones we've done before. Let's get them put in, plug them in, see how they look like, and then figure out later. Normally with these kind of sequential or dynamic rear indicators, you get extra wire that plugs in from so that the indicator follows it through, but it looks like on this one it's only the indicator in the rear corner lights, not the actual boot lid. Oh yeah, so it's the sequential, you see? So that's the upgraded lights. Obviously they don't look much different. I love the little dance they do when they come on, that looks sick. So we're going for the kinda OEM plus look and trying to kinda do it like a M car, even though it's not. Well, kinda is, but it's not at the same time. They are sick. Need to finish the boot lid so we can actually put them back in and move on to more modifications, I think. Before we wrap the front end, why don't we, since we got on to modifications, why don't we finally get this ram air box out of the corner and actually put it on? Yeah, let's do that. Who cares about finishing the wrap if we've got some more modifications to do? Let's go. So with this one, it's a bit of an interesting one. Normally I would want an induction kit. If it wasn't the case, we would have probably got an induction kit anyways. But this car, as it turns out, is a stage 2. So logically thinking, if it was my car and if I was going stage 2, I would start with the easier parts first, which normally is something that you can access from the top there. In our case, it's the induction kit. And then you would go on to the intercooler, then you would go to on downpipe, exhaust and stuff like that, where it's funny that we've got a big intercooler, we've got a downpipe, we've got an exhaust, most likely we've got a stage 2 tune, but we haven't got any kind of induction kit, which this is going to restrict the airflow and not get the performance, which explains when I was driving the car, it felt like it was drinking the petrol so bad. I was like, how does anyone use this as a daily car? Then the check engine light come on, which then I plugged in the computer of the camera. I should have filmed it, I know, I'm sorry. And it showed that the car is running rich, which means it's not getting enough air, which probably is because of this induction kit. In here, if you were tuning the car, at least minimum you would put like panel filter or ideally induction kit like ram air, but we've just got a standard air filter in there, which doesn't make any sense. If you're trying to get power out of the car, you wouldn't start by putting intercooler on, exhaust and everything like that if you're not getting enough air to it, which means we get a chance to install ram air induction kit. And also, my theory is that the radiator damage that was in there that we fixed in the last video probably most likely was from someone or whoever was changing the induction kit. I don't know how, I don't know why, but that damage was so weird, and the induction kit, same as the wheels, would have probably been taken off because they are the ones to remove the easiest. So if the car was then took to the carport for the auction or whatever, if it was my car, I would have probably done the same, take off anything that I've got of value, then you can sell it separately and make some money back. Nevertheless, let's get it unpacked. Let's see what's in the box. Again, thank you to ram air for sponsoring us with another induction kit, same as the 46. We've got a nice discount code in the description if you want to go check it out and grab your induction kit or at least a filter with a nice discount there. But before we can get it all installed, we've got a very important job to do, and I'm sure you can guess what it is. Let me just connect the battery back up. I'll be 2 seconds. As I said, 2 seconds.
I'm fast as fuck, boy!
And now we can do a sound check, which obviously you would do a sound check when you're putting induction kit on. So let's do it before. Not gonna lie, it sounds pretty good from the rear, from the exhaust, but I don't think you're getting any sound from the air filter induction. So once that's installed, I'm pretty sure it's gonna sound miles better. So let's get it installed and see what it sounds after. We're gonna start by removing the original induction kit. It comes in multiple different sections. We're gonna unbolt the top section. There's one hose clamp on the left side which connects to the rubber hose that goes down to the turbo, and then we also need to remove the airbox. To remove the airbox, we also need to take the muff sense out, which is held in by two little bolts, and there's also a pipe that we need to unplug, and that's the induction kit ready to come off. Now the air filter can come off and the airbox itself. Now we've got the airbox out of the way, the induction pipe here out of the way. We also need to remove this pipe which attaches to the turbo. So it's just down there, but I don't think we can get to it. So I think we'll need to jack the car up and go from the bottom to get it removed. But before we go under the car, there's one more pipe that needs to be disconnected, which is just on the side there. That's held on by a couple of clips and few little screws. Okay, so that pipe is out. Now I think we will jack the car up and try to go from the bottom to get to the other end of this pipe, which is connected to the turbo. So that's out of the way. So there's one 10mm bolt right up there, which I don't know if I'll be able to show on the camera. We need to get to it somehow. It's a bit of a tight space, and it's funny how we're doing this on the floor or jack the car up. We've got a ramp there, but you know, do it the old school way. How do we get in there? While having a little nap under the car, I decided to check from the top, see if I can get to it from the top, but it does look even tighter from the top. So I went back under the car and removed the little 10mm bolt by twisting it millimeter at a time until it was totally free and I could pull it up to the top. So this part now can't be replaced with this silicone part, which we've got some extra fixings to put on there before we can put it back on. So now that we've got that induction kit out, we can go ahead and slide these fixing plates in place, which go in like so. So this is like this. So now with the angle of the pipe, we can roughly line them up to where we think they need to be, which I've already done wrong. So now that the fixings are in place, we can tighten these hose clamps back on. That's back in place roughly, but from the top I can't guide it onto the turbo, so I'll get under the car again, slide it onto the turbo and tighten it down with that 10mm nut we had. Right, I've got the boost pipe, well, it's not a boost pipe, induction pipe back on the turbo. Now I've just slid it back on. Now I need to get the 10mm nut. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not. So that's it all back in place now. I just need to get that 10mm nut back on the actual thing there, and that will be done from under here. That's what a nut looks like. Now the job to get it on there without dropping it somewhere down behind the engine or something. You need very skinny and long fingers for this. If your finger game is good, you can get this done. If your finger game is not good, then you can't get this done. So all you single lads not be able to get this done. Can't really get any tools in there, so I put it on with my fingers. Only thing that I could get in there is a 10mm spanner. Then I use that to tighten it down. That's the bottom part, well, the turbo part, all connected. I think we can drop the car now and then move on to connecting the rest of the bits. It's going. put it back on. It was pretty straightforward, exactly the same as you removed it. We put the first pipe on, which connects to the turbo, then into that we've got the main induction pipe, and then we move on to the actual cone filter, and then put some nice carbon plates on, which Rame have supplied with. That's the induction kit all on. Let's do the most important part that everyone's been waiting for, the sound check. That sounds absolutely amazing. Thanks again, can't thank them enough, and on to more modifications. Oh, and totally forgot, don't forget to check out the description. We've got a discount code for them. Go grab your induction kit. It will make a massive difference to your car. Let's get on to more modifications.
Wait a minute!
You can't buy like a little gel sticker that goes in there with saying M135i. It costs £22. I can't pay £22 for one little sticker. While we are on modifications, let's do a bit more modifications before we get on to finishing the wrap off, and that is our new wheels. We can get them on finally and see what it looks like. Only problem, while they have been sitting, this wheel is totally flat, and I found a puncture somewhere here. So we've got a little puncture there. So let's do a puncture repair first, and then we can stick them on. That's as good as new. Don't do this at home, kids, yeah? That's some sketchy shit. Get your tires properly repaired by a tire place, you know? I'm just winging it. I'm no mechanic, but I like to do stuff myself, so there we go. Now I'm scared it's never gonna come out. I think we have a big problem.